I just have one question for you. Are you ready? We've got ghost stories, we've got premonitions, we've got a little bit of everything. Some true nurse ghost stories. I've got a couple of those, and those are hard to come by. So, what are you waiting for? Grab something to drink, a blanket, turn down the lights, and let's get spooky. Well, hello, my spooky friends. Yeah, Scully has just been chattering all day. It's been overcast and rainy, and he has been wanting to tell some ghost stories. So, what am I supposed to do? Argue with a skull? No. I'm like, okay, we'll tell some ghost stories. Okay? I hope you're ready for this. Our first story comes from Lori FJ6, and she says, "Dogs howling has never bothered me. I grew up with a black and tan hound named Bear who would howl all night long. To me, and here she comes, here's Sachi. To me, it meant safety and all was right with the world. When he passed, it was too quiet and sleep was not easy. Oh my gosh, yeah, it's hard when a pet passes. It's also hard when they keep wagging their tail in front of the camera. But it is what it is. On another note, I had a dear friend who sadly unalived himself. Let me get okay. I'm unfocused. Sachi, you unfocused me. Okay, I lose focus with her tale. He and my son had the same name, Eric. One night, as I was getting ready for bed, you just got to be a part of this, don't you? My phone rang and my friend's name was on the screen. Your friend who passed, his name was on the screen. I started not to answer, but shaking, I did. Okay, let me just ask y'all if somebody called you and it came up their name and number, even though your family members shared a similar name, like, would you answer it? I mean, I have to wonder, would I answer the phone if it was someone who was deceased calling from that number? I don't know. You're probably braver than I am. I think I'd just be like, you know what? Just not going to answer it. But she did, shaking. It was my son. I was so relieved. But I have always wondered, was it just a mess up with my phone or something else? Stay spooky and keep up the good work. Usually your phone doesn't have goof ups like that. I know it can, but I think maybe your friend Eric was just throwing that in there. I don't know how ghosts know how to mess with electronics. Is this one of the first things they learn when they cross over? Because, we've had a lot of people on here who have gotten phone calls, like literal phone calls from people who have passed. And yeah, we've told a lot of those stories. She's not going to stop. Your friend trying to just let you know that he's okay. If it never happened again and didn't happen with any other numbers, then I'm saying, yeah, you've got a case of ghostly interference. They just want to let us know it's okay. We're all good, and that's important. Okay, could you quit licking your tail for just a moment, please? All right, our next story. This is by Gregory. I enjoy these. The night before my mama passed, I couldn't sleep. My son and nephew were up at my brother's house sitting at the kitchen table at 3 a.m. The coffee pot came on. She passed the next day. I knew it was my mama letting us know to get ready. Wow. Yeah, that certainly is. If it wasn't pre programmed, at 3 a.m., which is kind of an odd time, I think she was just letting you know, hey, you need to have a cup of coffee, whatever. It's going to be a long day. I think that's something that I would do probably after death. Like, just come put on the coffee pot and can you drink the coffee? That's what I want to know. If you're following my shorts and my ghost stories here, I do come to food situations. I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm working on it. But maybe she just wanted to smell the fresh coffee. I don't know. I would definitely lean towards that's a sign. Thank you for sharing that. Now, this one is by Melissa B. I've had this happen twice with my phone. Both times I was watching TV in the bedroom where I always kept my phone on the dresser next to me. Both times I went to the pantry 20 feet down the hallway, and as I got my snack, I had a random thought in my head: your phone is missing. Both times I returned and turned the room over but could not find the phone. Both times the phone appeared in the middle of the room hours later. I don't have an explanation, especially as far as how I knew it was missing both times. I mean, that's crazy. You're just randomly getting a thought as you're getting a snack, like, my phone is missing. So it's like something in you knew that the phone had disappeared, but at least you found it hours later. Like, I would be really upset if you take my phone and don't return it. Um, yeah, that is really kind of creepy. And why the phone? And how did you know? I mean, you have to wonder, was some ghost like secretly whispering to your subconscious, standing behind you, laughing and pranking, saying, "Ha, ha, ha, your phone's missing. I took your phone." I don't know. Do they do that? I could see me doing that, but I guess at least thank you for returning the phone. That is very interesting. I don't think I've heard a story quite like that one. And talking about ghosts or fairies or whatever, moving stuff, Kayleen says, mine just throws out what? What? Mine just throws my silverware out of the super deep, large 1920 sink if I don't do my dishes. Oh, wow. To be fair, this has happened to me in 4 places I have lived. So it's me, not the house. I've got stories, but also, to be fair, I now live in an old West town that saw a ton of death and hardship and many murders, some famous. So the whole town is haunted. My place is not as old as many, 1888, but walls moving, I don't think I've seen that. Okay, that was in response to one of my shorts about the dimensions in my house changing. Well, first of all, Kayleen, let me tell you, I am glad that my ghosts do not throw silverware out of my sink when I don't do the dishes. Actually, right now, to be quite honest, I would have a lot of silverware in the floor because instead of doing dishes, I'm filming. So, yeah, true story. And come to think of it, it'd be nice if I had little fairies to do the dishes, but whatever. Um, yeah, I think that's crazy. I was really intrigued though by your saying that you live in an old ghost town, famous. Like, so are we talking about like Tombstone? I would love to hear your stories. Actually, all of y'all. I cannot get enough of your stories, so please send them in. I always have an email link in the description. I would love to hear your stories because I can go through a lot of stories at one time. So please keep sending them in. And if you have sent in a story or put a comment and I didn't get it, send it again or comment again because sometimes it gets lost. The way that my stuff comes in, just I don't want to make it too technical, but sometimes I don't see comments. And I know that sounds crazy, but they don't always show up for me. And then I'll go back even a month or months later and I see something and I'm like, I never even responded to that. So, yeah, keep sending them in. I love to hear from you because if I don't hear from you, I don't have anything to talk about. Yeah, I'm going to put this all on you. And oh, yes. Scully said to remind you that a lot of you are not subscribed. So if you like true ghost stories, these are ones that are sent personally to me. So you may probably not hear them anywhere else. Please hit the subscribe button. I mean, if you want to. Scully wanted me to ask. He's the one that brought it up. Okay. All right. Our next story. Okay. This one comes to us by Red Vote. Lived in an old mill house in Deneen, South Carolina. Am I saying that right? I am not familiar with that. I've been through South Carolina a lot. Love it a lot. With a roommate. Came home from work, was using the restroom, and after a few minutes, I heard him come in. Okay, you thought you heard your roommate come in. Okay. Walked through the living room, through the kitchen, and the steps, stopped outside the restroom door. I thought he was trying to scare me when I came out. Well, I opened the door and he wasn't there. I called him to see where he was because I 100% heard someone in the house. He wasn't there, still at work. That old house had more goings on, but that's just one occasion. Yeah, don't you just hate it when the ghosts are sneaking up on you? You think it's somebody, and then you find out it's nobody. And you're like, my question is, okay, you thought it was your roommate trying to stand outside the door and scare you, and I'm all about the pranks. But I want to know this. Did the ghost actually stop outside the door, or did they walk through the door and they're just in there watching you do whatever you're doing? Yeah, because I'm not good with that. Um, and when I had something even worse happen to me in this house, I got up and gave them what for and said boundaries. I'll tell that story soon on my shorts. But anyway, if you've got more stories, I would love to hear them. There's nothing like a Southern ghost story. That's for sure. Now, here is a comment by Mary V. I've always heard if a bird flies in through an open window, someone close to you will die. Also heard if a picture falls off its hook in the house, same thing. A lot of people say that about a bird flying in through the window, and I don't really know where that originated from. Um, I have had that one time, and nobody passed away that I can remember. But apparently, it is true of a lot of families. And what I say on here is some things are specific to certain bloodlines or families, but we've seen that over and over where there are things passed down. So yeah, it could be a picture falling off the wall. I have had that happen as well with no one passing to me. When there's no explanation, and I always check the nail and check. I'm looking for a physical, rational explanation for these things, and when I don't find them, I'm like, it's the ghosts. Certainly, though, some people get a heads up, and I don't always think that's a bad thing. So I find it very interesting. Thank you, Mary. Okay, this next one is by Anne Greenley. I have a friend who, since childhood, every time she dreams of a plane crash, it will happen within 24 to 48 hours. She has asked her husband, after having one of these dreams, should she contact the local airport. Her husband always says no because they will think you are crazy or be a part of the event. This has always haunted her and gives her so much anxiety. Okay, first, I would always say no, do not call the airport. I know you want to, um, and I get that, but believe me, it will not be helpful either to you or, they're not going to believe you. And even if they did, what can they do about it? Uh, and I have had a plane crash dream or 2 where it does same thing. It happens very specifically, like, and this has been many years ago. I had this dream about a jet flying over and the tail section just fell off and the plane crashed. And it was either the next day or 2 days that I was watching the news and that exactly happened. Now, my dream went on, and I'm not gonna get into that. It was detailed, and it went on to more and more things, and it got kind of dark and scary, the things that I saw in my dream. Now, I felt like after I saw the plane crash on TV, I got the feeling that it wasn't so much the plane crash itself that I was being warned about, but that it was a sign, okay? Because the dream that I had went on that I knew was going to go on in the future, and some very concerning things that I saw in my dream. So I felt like it was just a confirmation when I saw the plane crash in exactly that way the next day. It said to me that this dream, the rest of your dream, is going to happen, although I knew it would be years in the future. And yeah, it is not a dream that you want to hear about. Um, and honestly, I can see things going exactly the way that I dreamed them. So I don't know. I would say to your friend, is it just the plane crash, or is there something else to the dream that might be significant? And then sometimes it can have a totally different meaning, like something is going to happen in your life. You kind of, I think, have to look at patterns and what they can mean and what they have meant in the past, and it's kind of a heads up. Am I making any sense here? Sometimes I honestly think I am just chattering and nobody understands what I'm saying, but I hope you do. All right, let's look at our next story. Okay, this story is from Angela Comer. Am I saying that right? For months while I was sound asleep at night, my tablet would light up by itself. It doesn't light up unless you push a button on the side or move it. The light is very bright and would wake me up at night. I would tell whoever was touching it to stop, but they kept doing it. Sounds like somebody I know. Point taken. I think she means I was finally over it one night and told whoever was doing it, knock yourself out now. It won't bother me. They did. I would turn off a lamp, and as I would drift off, and it would turn back on. When I started ignoring it, after a while, it stopped. I don't think ignoring Sachi is actually going to work. So, all right. Um, at first I thought, okay, I understand your tablet. Yeah, it lights up when you get notifications, but if that's what it was, you would be seeing it, what the tablet just lighting up. But what I do find interesting is when you said, okay, fine, knock yourself out and it stops. Yeah, that would kind of indicate to me that something may have gotten a little butt hurt. It just stopped. I don't know. Okay, this one is from Karen, and this is a hospital story. And talking about her time that she spent in there. The nurse kept coming in and asking, did you push the call button? I told her no. She said, your button keeps going off. So they had maintenance come in. No more than 10 minutes later, the fire alarm went off in my room. It was something all the time. The nurse laughed and said, somebody really likes you. Then her and I talked about ghosts in the hospital. They are just wanting your attention. Well, now I completely agree with that. I think the ghosts in the hospitals do want your attention. And in the nursing homes and all the other places, these call lights just keep going off. Either it's a message or they just want you to know they're still there. Maybe they're pranking you. Maybe they think you need to get up. But I definitely think it is for attention. No doubt. So, yeah, I think it's interesting that the nurse talked to you about it. I wish more nurses would talk about it. Now, this one is from EM. My father's nurse's aide told us a story about how she was doing overnight care for a patient, and during the night, the atmosphere in the living room where she was sitting changed, and she saw two black hooded figures, one tall and one smaller, and she knew they came for her patient. So she told them, he's in the bedroom. And in the morning, when she went in there, she saw that he had passed away during the night. Oh, wow. Well, I guess that's the best thing you could do. If you're sitting in a room and all of a sudden the atmosphere changes and you see dark figures, I mean, he's back there. He's in there. Cuz leave me alone. That's where you're headed. I mean, I don't know. It kind of sounds mean, but it sounds like he was, trying to pass already. Wow. So, lesson learned. If you are in this situation, yeah, point in some direction and say, hey, that way, you're not looking for me. Go. Just keep walking. Just keep walking. Wow. That's a very interesting story. See, I'm telling you, healthcare workers, we have some good ones. Thank you for sharing that. Now, here we have another story about the same thing, and I don't know if this is Rhea Long or I don't know how I'm saying this, but my mother was very superstitious about a lot of things, and the bird hitting the window and a death was one she believed in wholeheartedly. When her parents passed, a bird hit the window out of our house just before she got the calls for mother and father. I have prophetic feeling all the time. Once, when I was in a local grocery store, the assistant manager and I were talking for a bit, and I had the feeling he wasn't going to live much longer. He passed that night from a massive heart attack. This isn't the first or last time that my feeling of impending death have been proven right. Yeah, that is freaky. I've had that a few times myself where you just get this sudden premonition that somebody you're talking to, you're not close to them, they're not a good friend, but you just have this feeling that they're going to pass soon or something looks off. For me, something looks off, but I realize it's not my nursing judgment. It's just something doesn't seem right. And then I've had this happen many times where they unexpectedly pass within a few weeks. And I mean, what are you supposed to say to someone, right? It's not like you can talk to somebody and say, "Yeah, I feel like you're going to die soon." I mean, maybe we should, but that is an awkward conversation, and I would say probably avoid it because they might not take it well. But yeah, I actually hate it when I know that. Okay, and this one is from Wanda. I had a prayer partner in an elderly home I worked in for 3.5 years. When she transferred to a nursing home, I would go visit her. I was a licensed hairdresser and would give her manicures. One day I went to visit, and she told me her parents told her to get that stuff, meaning her polish, off. She was close to 100. Oh, wow. Good for her. So I knew this could not be so. Yeah, truly. She insisted, so I took the polish off. I got to see my prayer partner briefly on her 100th birthday. That would be the last time I saw her. Yeah, we've talked about that a lot. When people start seeing their parents, something is up. It must have been a family, maybe a religious thing, and not to have polish on. A lot of people from back then felt like it was um, very worldly and not appropriate for, Christian peoples to be wearing nail polish. As you see, I am not one of those people. I think it's funny that her parents come admonishing her, and I'm thinking that wouldn't work for me. Don't be coming in here telling me what not to do. I don't care if you are my parents. You can say hi. Don't give me advice after you're dead. But I think in this case, it probably made her feel more safe and secure to know her parents were treating her like they did when she was young and, like, almost admonishing her and, getting ready, preparing herself for the big event. Because when you're 100, it's not a surprise. You're probably not going to be around that much longer. So, hey, I think it was a heads up for both of you. All right. I appreciate so much these stories. I'm going to wind it up. I've been talking for a long time. I am going to go live sometime, but I'm not sure when. Once again, send me your stories, your letters. I still have a letter or two to read. I'm also going to be talking about if you have cryptid stories. I've had one sent into me. If you have any kind of sighting of that kind of thing, I've got a UFO story, but I'm trying to get a whole collection of those. I can find these on the internet, but I would rather have them straight from you. All right, Scully, we've talked enough. It's time for us to go and see what we can get into. I mean, that sounds like fun. All right, stay safe out there. Whatever you do, just stay spooky. Bye bye.